Jose, welcome to the Commerce Talks podcast. Today we are talking about grocery shopping in Mexico, one of my favorite use cases of the grocery market and Spryker, of course. But before we are going too much into details, please introduce yourself and introduce your company, please.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, Alex. It's really nice to be here. Thank you for having me. I am Jose Manuel Esparza. I am CEO of Duplo. Duplo is Mexico's first digital CPG wholesaler. We are the product of the digital transformation project born in Mercado Maico. Mercado Maico is a CPG wholesaler, a regional leader here in northeastern Mexico. The company was founded around 30 years ago, and up until 2021, actually, the company was 100% brick and mortar. We operate in the cash and carry model where our customers come into our warehouses and they shop for any supplies they need. We are B2B, so our customers are actually shop owners. We call them tenderos. So these tenderos come into our warehouses, they take whatever groceries they need, and they take them back to their shops, their tienditas.
How many? Just to give a picture for the European listeners or the US listeners, Mercado Maico, like huge warehouse or store. Is this comparable to like a Metro, for example, in Europe, or how could we think about it?
Yeah, exactly. A comparable European company would definitely be Metro. Our customers are these small shop owners. So yeah. We operate in that way, in a cash and carry model. So that I think that would be the right comparison.
Okay, and then before we're going into the customer journey and what Duplo is exactly making. So last time I was in Mexico was during like a language school visit almost 20 years ago. No, it's not so long ago. It's like I was there like in 2009 or so. But What I still remember is that like these tienditas you're describing, they're really at every corner. So when people are buying like their taco bread or whatever they're needing, they're just like go 100 meter down the street. There's a small store like for all of the basic goods, and this seems to be something which is still there, even though there's maybe a supermarket like 1 or 2 kilometers away. And then my question is, why? How can it be that there's a small shop, like in Germany it was called Tante Emma Laden, right. My Aunt Emma shop, when there's like a supermarket with most likely more assortment and in many cases an even more affordable assortment. So can you explain a bit why this is?
Yeah, sure. And there's this effect particularly in central Mexico, in Mexico City and the state of Mexico, where that effect actually happens when you have maybe 2-3 stores per I don't know 200 meters, something like that. So it's really dense. But in other parts of the country, you may have maybe one of those small shops, one of those tienditas, for an entire settlement, maybe. So it in terms of density, it varies depending if they are on the cities or on the rural areas. But I mean, and their use cases are also different. For example, in an urban setting, the tiendita accomplishes a special need, or it tends to a special need from certain customers for whom the supermarket experience doesn't make a lot of sense. So surely you know that in Mexico there is a wide percentage of the population living in poverty, right? So for those low-income families, it is difficult to go into a supermarket and buy the larger presentations of each product. So when they go into one of these tienditas have different catalogs, right? So maybe the same products, but in different presentations. So smaller presentations that they can really afford and they can really use for today, for tomorrow, but no further into the future. So actually, in urban settings, that is a very useful use case. Also, you have the convenience part, but they are deeply rooted in the Mexican society mix. And of course, in rural areas, most of them do not have any supermarkets or any convenience stores. So really, the tiendita is the only supply option for a lot of Mexicans.
Okay, and can you give like a percentage number, like from how many people live in Mexico? 80 million, 70 million?
Around 120 million.
120 million.
Yeah.
So out of 120 million Mexicans, how many are shopping on a regular basis in tienditas?
Well, it's around 50%.
Okay, 60 million.
50.
Okay.
Yeah. Around 50% of Mexicans actually have as a primary supply option the tiendita. But in terms of family spend in food and beverage, tienditas represent around 70%.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. And from a market share perspective, so it's 70%, but especially now during Corona and the inflation, and what we are seeing in the rest of the world is inflation drives poverty. And so there's like more families are moving into lower income classes, so they must save money. And I understand correctly from what you're saying, you're not going to the tienditas to buy like the big box of whatever. You're rather buying in small portions. So if you try to calculate like the cost per gram or the cost per kilogram, it could be even more expensive in a tiendita. But I would assume it's a growing market right now. So even less people would go to the supermarket and moving into this kind of day per day or day by day shopping instead of shopping like for the whole week. Is this correct, this assumption?
Yeah, no, definitely. As inflation hikes and prices soar, and less and less families are able to go into the supermarket, and more of them go into the tiendita. And actually, it's a counter-cyclical industry because, as for example, if there are layoffs on big companies, then some, if not a lot of those laid-off employees will actually open up a new tiendita as a form of family entrepreneurship. So yeah, it's actually growing.
How hard is it in Mexico to start a tiendita?
Well, it's actually pretty easy because the only thing you need is some available space. You or many of these tenderos, they actually use their homes to open up their tiendita. So their living rooms or their garages. So they'll just use that space. They will go to a wholesaler, just buy an initial catalog, and just take it back and open doors to customers.
And is it usually is the assortment usually always the same? Like every tiendita is having like, I don't know, beer, para, tacos, whatever, or is there like do they specialize in like, I don't know, fashion, grocery, paper stuff? How is it? Because when I was there, I only remember the grocery focused ones, but I guess if I would open up like a new store and there's already like 10 other tienditas selling tacos or taco bread,
right,
maybe I would focus on a different assortment.
Yeah, no, sure. It starts at a pretty common mix. So you will have maybe beverages, you will have like a milk, you will have bread, you will have edibles, you will have cleaning products, and that's how the average small tiendita works. Obviously, there is a smaller presentation of these tienditas in which they only have beverages and snacks, and maybe that's one of the ones you saw well in Mexico, because especially in Mexico City, those are predominant. You have one of those like small windows where you can buy candy, you can buy snacks, you can buy beverages, and that's all there is. And but as the size grows, then new categories can be sold. Beer, surely, more candy, more house products or school products like paper, pens, and something of the like. Some of our tenderos go into small sections for toys for children. Some of them will have fruits and vegetables. So yeah, it's but it all starts with edibles, cleaning products, and beverages.
And what is the survival rate of a new tiendita? If let's say you and me losing our jobs in Mexico, opening up a new one tomorrow, what's our survival rate like? First 6 months, 12 months, 18 months?
Yeah, well, it's actually pretty harsh. Actually, just around 1 in every 2 tienditas will survive the first 2 years. But if you widen the picture to 5 years, then only 2 out of 10 tienditas will survive. So it's actually, if you look at the big picture, you will see an industry that's growing steadily but not fast. But if you zoom in to that, you will see like hundreds of thousands of new tienditas every year being born and dead.
Sorry if I'm like focusing so much on the market, but I need to understand it because how is this? Where is this churn coming from? Because I would have assumed that the successful tienditas expand another living room, another house, so they are becoming like a small supermarket eventually, and therefore eating the food of the other tienditas. But what you're describing is that you're describing is that from 100,000 tienditas within 5 years, 80,000 go out of business, but at the same time, 90,000 new are starting. So like new corner stores, new living rooms remodeled into shops. So which picture is correct?
Well, actually, it's both, because on the first side, maybe you have a tiendita that has a privileged spot that will act more as a convenience store than as a pure tiendita. So it will start growing, and maybe first the living room was a tiendita, but eventually the whole house will become the tiendita. But that's a very special setup in which it starts from a privileged location. Another growth model for these tienditas is if they do not have that privileged location, or if their market, their neighbors, maybe the settlement isn't big enough, they will start growing by opening other small tienditas in other locations that they may deem appropriate. But a lot of them, the reality is that cannot work on their value proposition enough so that they survive. So maybe I have a tiendita that's kind of working. My neighbors are coming in, but one day one of my neighbors, the one that's across the street from me, decides to open up a tiendita, and he maybe provides a better service. My neighbors eventually will go over to him, and I will close. So it's actually a pretty high churn and a lack of professional preparation or professional education to actually run a small business. Those are some of the challenges that tienditas face.
Okay, got it. And then let's start, before we are going into your business, let's start with the value proposition of Mercado Maico. So those tiendita owners, when they start the business, they go into a Mercado Maico cash and carry store, decide for their initial assortment, they're getting like their customer card, whatever, go home, stock their former living room and start selling. Is this correct?
Yeah. Actually, a new tendero or someone that wants to open up a tiendita will come into Mercado Maico's warehouses. They will approach our staff. They will, tell them, you know what? I want to open a tiendita. Do you have any special plans for me? And the answer will be yes. Yeah, we have a special assortment that meets the need of any new tiendita. We'll have some benefits for you. We will give you a card so you can get special promotions and benefits. And off you go. Off you go to start creating value for your customers. So yeah, that's actually how it works.
Okay, but now you've started a new business on top of this. Can you go in a bit more details here? So what kind of additional value proposition you came up with?
Yeah. So since its founding, Mercado Maico has been 100% brick and mortar through our physical warehouses in the cash and carry model. But due to the acceleration of the digital products and platforms during the pandemic, Maico's leadership actually started thinking, and they said, well, we are all right. We are thriving right now because the pandemic brought like a super acceleration to the wholesaling industry. But maybe in 3 or 4 or 5 years, there will be digital players that will start eroding our market share. So that's exactly when we started talking to each other, and we decided to start the exploration in order to found a new digital business unit. Before that could happen, we actually needed to develop a digital transformation project within Maico. So this started in February of 2021. Actually, it was a really fast process. We built all the digital ecosystem. We hired all the digital talent. We created the infrastructure, the special warehouses for digital operations. So that happened all very fast, and we were able to go live by November of 2021 in Saltillo. Saltillo is a city of around 1 million inhabitants in northeastern Mexico. We went live in Saltillo because it is Maico's or Mercado Maico's headquarters. So we knew that we were going to need to learn a lot, to make mistakes. And in Saltillo, Mercado Maico's brand is powerful, so we knew that we would count on our customers' patience during our learning curve. And actually, that's what happened. We started learning a lot. We started scaling up. And that's how Duplo was born first in Saltillo. Duplo is Mexico's first digital CPG wholesaler. Why? Because, we are not the first participant in the space. Others have come before us. Actually, the first attempts at digital wholesaling started back in 2018. But something that makes us different and that actually has us today at the top of the digital wholesaling effort here in Mexico is that we were actually born from the traditional channel, from the traditional wholesaling industry. And with that, it brought a lot of experience, knowledge about our customers, what their needs are, which use cases they actually need that the traditional wholesaler is not fulfilling. So that actually helped a lot and made us different from other players. And the magic started happening. So just to give you context, there are around 6,000 tienditas in the Saltillo area. 10 months in, 4,500 of those 6,000 were already on the platform, already on Duplo. So we started seeing
how did you reach them? So many, so fast?
Oh, well, actually, it all starts by making this assumption. Mm-hmm. We have to assume that our customer isn't natively digital. So we have to assume that we will find a traditional customer, and we will need to educate her into the digital abilities. So we actually acquire customers both through digital efforts, but also through sales colleagues that go into the street, go into tienditas, invites the tenderos to join the platform, open up an account, and make the first order. But I mean, for us, everything up to that comes naturally, comes easy in a way, because everyone's curious to place an order through a digital platform. But what's actually challenging is to get that customer in a journey in which they eventually are able to make orders by themselves without any input from us. And week by week, they start making orders. And that's what we started seeing by July of 2022. We had acquired a base of regular customers that were placing orders with a recency of 6.8 days. That means more than one order per week, with a decent average ticket size. We had some findings there. For example, an average ticket size from Mercado Maico includes around 45 SKUs. An average ticket from Duplo includes around 95 SKUs.
So 95 different items?
Yeah. 95 different SKUs with varying number of quantities, right? So
what is the order volume then? The order value? Sorry, it's order value.
Yeah. For Mercado Maico, actually the average order is around $45. No, $50. Sorry, US dollars. For Duplo, it's actually $110.
So it's more or less $1 per SKU?
Oh, yeah, you could say that. I mean, in the average, maybe it doesn't make that much sense because $1 per SKU is not really, it doesn't describe what the customer is buying. But yeah, in averages, that's the way it is. So we started seeing this conversion of traditional customers into digital customers, and that's exactly when we stopped and said, wow, our model, we feel that it is being validated. We are creating values for our customers. We are creating opportunities for them because, I mean, Duplo was born with the goal of saving time for tenderos. Because there's resupply processes actually take up a lot of time, and that actually doesn't let them focus into creating value for their customers. So death rates go up, and we really don't want that. We want to create opportunities in which tenderos have much better survival rates, right? So, I mean, we saw that the business model was validated, and we said, well, now it is time to start our escalation roadmap. So we started to work on it, and on December of last year, December the 1st of 2022, Duplo went live in Monterrey. And we went live in a 3 warehouse model that practically covers the whole Monterrey area.
And those warehouses are not connected to a Mercado Maico cash and carry market. It's like standalone warehouses.
Yeah. There are standalone warehouses specifically for digital operations, for Duplo's digital operations.
Okay.
So and we have a wide coverage. It was very important for us to really be able to satisfy our value promise. For example, if one of our customers places an order today by 1 p.m., they get it delivered the same day. So we wanted to be able to offer that in Monterrey, and that's why we started with that model. Just to give you context, Monterrey is a city of around 5 million people.
And how many tienditas are there?
Well, it varies according to the source, but it starts at 17,000. There are people that say it's 30,000, but I mean, we start from the assumption that there are 17,000.
How's your adoption rate so far? This is far away from your home turf. So I understand there's a couple of like branding advantages in the Mercado Maico hometown. So new town, second biggest in Mexico. How is it working out for you so far, Jose? Tell us the truth.
Well, there's definitely a difference, right? Because but I mean, it goes both ways. It's harder on some things and easier on other things. For example, in Saltillo, it was really easy to leverage Mercado Maico's brand and really get new customers fast. But only up to a point, because Mercado Maico is the leading wholesaler in Saltillo, but there are other wholesalers. So eventually, when you have invited your whole customer base to join Duplo, you need to start working on that other segments of customers. And maybe some of them like Mercado Maico and some of them don't. And you get the picture. And but during that time, it allowed us to really work on the service model, on the quality of service, on the communication that we found that worked with our customers, on our model. So once we arrived in Monterrey, and Monterrey is a city where Mercado Maico do not have any physical warehouses, that was definitely an issue. We couldn't acquire customers as easily at the start. But actually, everything that we learned in Saltillo worked for us to really scale up much faster than we did in Saltillo. So I mean, 4 months in Monterrey, and the orders the weekly orders that we are serving in the city are actually higher than the ones that we are serving in Saltillo. So from November to today, we have doubled in size, thanks to those challenges that we first faced in Saltillo and that we applied in Monterrey. So, I mean, it was a different in branding, but we have learned something in the way.
Okay, got it. So it's very impressive already. And my question, the question appears with your delivering capabilities, like 3 warehouses in Monterrey, you can deliver like same day. Isn't it somehow appealing that you could also deliver like to B2C customers? So because I don't know, there aren't like too many competitors in that business. And let's say I'm a household that can afford like a $50 order. You have essentially in your warehouses, you have all the basic stuff I need, like grocery side, paper side. So you could just like expand your business like Duplo B2C and then deliver like to end consumers in a huge market. It's like a 5 million people city. So is it something that occurred to you and you're thinking about, or is it like very far away from your core business?
Well, it's definitely appealing, but it's also so far away from our core business. And it's just like in Greek mythology, the tale of Ulysses and the mermaids. So it sounds really appealing, but it is extremely dangerous for us to really lose focus on the B2B market and start trying to or making B2C efforts, because it's too completely different business models that, I mean, eventually we would like to be able to develop, but right now we are highly focused on the B2B side.
Mm. Okay, got it. Maybe we can spend like a minute or so on the tech part, because we are not talking with each other here because we somewhere met at a retail conference, but you decided very early in the process for our technology, Spryker. Can you guide us through the decision-making process? Because most companies or many companies would have started with like a very simple tech stack. Like they would say, okay, instead of investing in a proper commerce technology, let's go with Shopify. Yeah, let's set up like the first store. Obviously, you have chosen like for a different route. Can you tell us why? You don't need to do the Spryker marketing here, but it's really interesting how you decided.
No, sure. Let me just give the context that my whole career has been devoted to creating and launching digital products and platforms, B2B digital products and platforms for micro businesses in Mexico and Latin America. So actually, before starting any effort on Duplo, I had some experience working with these other really easy to set up and easy to launch platforms. But the challenges that I faced before, challenges in which I needed to take really API first approaches to building these ecosystems. They were met with a lot of challenges from these traditional platforms. So once I started trying to picture what was needed for Duplo, I knew that we needed to create something that really could make our customers feel comfortable using a digital platform. So I knew that I needed to create a highly customized buying experience. For example, there are no computers within tienditas, so that's a challenge. But every tiendita has the latest smartphones in it. The tendero has the latest smartphone, and his sons and daughters too. So that was a natural way for us to go. So I started with that, and I said, well, I have been using non-composable platforms as if they were composable, but that presents a lot of challenges. So right now, facing the volumes that we need and facing the market size and all of that, I really need to start with a natively composable solution. But at that time, I didn't know any of them. So I mean, I knew I needed an enterprise grade solution. I started at Gartner's Magic Quadrant for digital commerce. I saw several vendors, including Spryker, and I just started calling each and every one of them. And it started flowing with Spryker. I saw some things that were really interesting for me because, composable sounds really interesting until you realize that you need a large team of developers. And if you're not prepared for that, then that may come as a shock. I knew that, but I also knew that I wanted to have a small internal team, a small internal development team. So actually, what really worked for me were PBCs. What are they called? Packaged business capabilities. So using those PBCs, actually the development effort that I needed to take was much lower, but at the same time leveraging everything composable. So that's kind of the story, how I ended up selecting Spryker and why I did it. It basically offered me the lowest development effort for the highest level of customization. So overall lower TCO and a really fast time to market. Those are the things.
And was it hard for you to get skilled developers in Mexico for Spryker?
No, actually it wasn't. Mexico is a pool of really talented developers. So Spryker comes with a tech stack that's really easy to understand, and to find people that know PHP, for example. So actually, it wasn't that of a challenge to manage the technology. The learning curve for us was learning actually Spryker's architecture and building on top of it and building our ecosystem. So those were the challenges. Not the talent, only knowing or getting to know the architecture.
Okay, got it. But from what I hear and what I understand, so it's a very compelling setup. So the expansion path must be clear. So with this kind of growth rate in the cities where you have deployed the Duplo service, it's kind of a no-brainer of like growing into other cities. So how many tienditas can you serve with your 3 warehouses in Monterrey? Not all of the 20, 30,000, depending on what kind of count you're relying on. Right.
With our installed capacity, we actually can serve around 14,000 of them.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah. It's quite high. And something that has come really natural or organic for us has been this expansion. So when we launched it in Saltillo, we launched in a single store or single location mobile store. When we went into Monterrey, we changed that to a multi-location mobile store. But just recently, I'm talking about 2 days ago, we launched our web store. So actually, we have a multi-location mobile and web stores that really have been really easy to build on top of our first effort. So yeah, it's been easy on that side.
And just one word on the competitor side. So my understanding is in Mexico, you have like 2 strong marketplaces. Amazon, obviously, because they've built so many warehouses close to the border, easy for them like to ship into Mexico, and Mercado Libre. And both are like global marketplaces approaches, like Chinese sellers or Chinese manufacturers can like sell to Mexico via those marketplaces. Is this somehow a competition in some area? You just like mentioned toys. So some tienditas are focusing on toys. So can you compete with those marketplaces when it comes to specific assortments like toys?
Well, I mean, if we were focused on toys, then yeah, definitely they would be my competition. But we are actually focused on groceries. So that actually makes that Amazon, neither Amazon nor Mercado Libre nor Alibaba are actually competitors for us. Even other digital players aren't. We see them as comparables, but not really competitors. Something that we have learned is that in order to place Duplo as a primary source of resupplement for our customers, we need to be better than the best of the traditional players on each city or each zone that we're in. So it seems counterintuitive maybe, but Duplo's challenge is actually to compete against these super fine-tuned traditional players with physical warehouses. Because, I mean, digital grocery distribution in Mexico is underdeveloped, to put it kindly. Right now, for many or for some CPG manufacturers, Duplo is already their number one digital customer in all of Mexico. So I mean, we could say, oh yeah, we're so great, but I mean, it's the market is so underdeveloped that that was not so hard to achieve. We have to push that boundary every day. So that's why we have to focus on the traditional players that actually are doing a great job.
I definitely have to visit you in Monterrey. I just shared, as we discussed, like a friend's contact also in Monterrey. So like two reasons to come there. So it's really impressive what you have achieved. The growth rate is impressive. The adaptation is fastest and strongest I've ever heard of. So usually you see this kind of charts online, how many months it took like Twitter to get to 100 million and ChatGPT to get to 100 million. And we need this kind of chart for like B2B businesses. How long does it take to get to the first 10,000 B2B customers? So I'm pretty sure even on a global scale, Duplo would have a very strong rating on this chart. Looking forward, how this develops. Pretty sure Monterrey won't be the last city to expand into, and I'm really excited to get like an update later this year. Thank you, Jose.